Hey guys, I'm Yulia. I'm from Russia and I'm happy to introduce you to my country as well as to my own city of Moscow. Perhaps you have already heard that Russian language is a very rich one and it's very rich in its slang as well. So today I'd like to touch on a very interesting aspect of our informal speech. Do you know that many characteristics to a person can be given by a single word, which is a kind of an animal? Well, yes, there are also idioms like in English or, as I suppose, in many other languages, in which this or that characteristic is compared to an animal, like as cunning as a fox, or as angry as a wolf, as quiet as a mouse, as strong as an ox. We have all of these comparisons in Russian too, but also there are single words that you can use by themselves, but sometimes perhaps you shouldn't. And Russians will understand them in a particular way. I started to count them, and do you know how many of such animals I wrote out? Just guess. About 40. 40 kinds of animals that can characterize a person. Of course, quite all of these words are very informal and you have to think twice before saying them to someone's face, because sometimes it can be very rude. I have decided to divide my list into two parts because they are really a lot, and today we will discuss the first one. I've separated all the animals by sense. So first, animals which characterize intellectual abilities of a person, moral characteristics and behavior. Then, animals which reflect the appearance. Animals which emphasize some physical abilities of a person come next. And finally, animals which we may use as a term of endearment. The biggest group is the first one, so we start with it. Animals which characterize intellectual abilities of a person, moral characteristics and behavior. I've counted 20 of them and ranged from good to bad, from the most positive one to the most negative one. So, what are they? Пчелка. Пчелка, little bee. Пчелка. Пчелка is the only one out of the list that has a positive meaning. We call this way people who work hard and do their best, just like a bee in nature. Хомяк, hamster. Хомяк. Хомяк is not that bad or offensive. It's just somebody who eats a lot and stuffs his mouth with food. Лиса, female fox. Лиса. Лиса is used for female and obviously means cunning, sly, tricky, or even clever. Sometimes it can imply mean, but not necessarily. Depends mostly on the context. Попугай, parrot, попугай. Попугай is someone who keeps repeating or asking the same things many times. Not really bad, but rather annoying and doesn't have a positive meaning either. Rather often it's used in relations between kids and parents. Big, ox, big. Big is used for a man or for a boy and may have two meanings. One is positive, when big is somebody strong and powerful. Another meaning is not a positive one, as well as rather rude. Big characterizes an aggressive and sometimes not an adequate person, someone really bad-mannered. Kuritsa Hen, Kuritsa. Kuritsa is considered by the Russians to be one of the most stupid birds on the planet. So if we call a person Kuritsa, first of all, we mean that it's used only for female, is not very intelligent. Mush Mouse, Mush. Mush is an unremarkable and invisible girl or woman, both in her behavior and appearance. Not bright, not positive or cheerful. It's often used with an adjective gray. Gray mouse. Серая мышь. Серая мышь. Which emphasizes her insignificance even more. Жук, bug. Жук. Жук is generally used for a man and means cunning or conniving. He only looks out for his own interests. Индюк, male turkey. Индюк. Индюк is a very arrogant and haughty man, usually pompous and smug. Слизняк. Слизняк. Slizняк is a male slug. Slizняk is somebody weak and spineless. That's what I actually found on internet because couldn't find the right words. But I'd use it mostly for a person who is a confusing one. For example, when I don't have a clear idea of somebody's action, he's slizняк for me. Осел, male donkey. Осел. Осел is stupid. Stupid is stubborn. That's it. Олень. Олень, stag. Олень is pretty the same as осел, in sense stupid, just another kind of an animal. Коза, козел. Goat. Коза, козел. Овца, баран. Sheep. Овца, баран. Sheep. This group of words means quite the same, the lack of intelligence or unexpected behavior of a person. The main difference is in its gender. So, коза and овца are female, and козел and баран are male. As for my own feeling, коза is slightly better than овца. Not so rude. Again, it depends on the emotions and context. In any case, both of these variants are very offensive as well as both of the male ones. I'd say that the male ones are even more unpleasant. Баран may also imply stubborn, by the way. Жаба, female toad. Жаба. Жаба is both ugly and greedy. Generally, in sense of ugly, it's used for females, but in sense of greedy, may be also used for both genders. Змея, snake. Змея. Змея is a wild, sneaky and evil woman who is able to do mean things to a person. Гадюка, viper. Гадюка. Гадюка is a kind of a snake, so basically it means the same as змея, which is a mean woman. The last three names come directly from the prison slang. They are very rude and offensive. I strongly recommend not to use them in one's face, or better not to use them at all. But in case you hear them somewhere, you could understand what they mean. Дятел, woodpecker, дятел. Дятел is a name for a man who is a snitch. Very rude. You should never use it with kids, for example. Крыса, rat, крыса. Крыса is a very offensive way to call a person who steals from people he or she deals with. May be used for both genders. Крыса may be also used to call a nasty woman. In this sense, it's slightly better, but still very rude and offensive. And the last one for today is петух. Петух, rooster. The rudest expression from my today's list is петух. It's a very offensive way to call a sexually abused person in jail or someone who is not respected at all. I would also add that it's a very abusive way to call a gay person. So that's it for today, and in case I've missed a widely used animal's kind that used to name a person, please mention it in comments. Thank you for your attention. I hope you really enjoyed. Wish you all the best, and пока-пока.